Hello, students. Today we will discuss the chapter of religious and social awakening in colonial India. We will discuss this chapter in two parts. In this part, we will read about the meaning, the need, the source of inspiration, and about some of the social reformers. So let's begin with the Students, the India we see today, it was altogether different from the India of 19th century. It was because of two major social causes which prevented the society's progress. One was lack of education and another one was subordination of women. Education was limited to handful of men which belonged to the upper caste. Religious texts were written in Sanskrit and monopolized by the priestly class. Meaningless rituals, sacrifices, and practices were outlined by priestly class for their own material gain. Subordination of women. Subordination means act of placing in a low rank or position. So women were kept at the low rank. Women did not enjoy any equal status with men. Women had neither right to property nor access to education. Polygamy, that is the practice of keeping many wives, was practiced by men, while women could not have more than one husband. Widowed women were compelled to burn themselves on the funeral pyre of their husband. This practice was known as sati pratha. As these practices were not in keeping with humanitarian values. So many social, religious reformers and organizations stepped forward to fight against these religious and social practices. They realized that the reinforcement when they came into contact with the Europeans because the world was altogether different. The desire to reform the society was so strong that these reformers got ready to face challenges as well as restrictions from the Orthodox Indians. These movements came to be called socio-religious movement because the reformers felt that no change is possible in society without reforming the religion. Now, let us see the work, the aspirations of the different social reformer. This is Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Raja Ram Mohan Roy knew many languages and had read Quran, Bible and the New Testament along with Hindu scriptures in great depth. In 1829, he founded a new religious society known as Atmiya Sabha, which later on came to be known as Brahmo Samaj. He was the first person who took the initiative to challenge the practice of sati, and because of his efforts a law was passed in 1829 which made sati illegal as well as punishable. He also made efforts to advocate widow remarriage and condemned child marriage. He advocated importance of Vedas in reforming religion and upheld the fundamental unity among all religions. He was critical of idol worship, the worship of the god in a figure, and observance of meaningless rituals. He strongly advocated the learning of English language, literature, scientific advancement, and technology to modernize India. Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Swami Dayanand founded Arya Samaj in 1875. He considered Vedas to be infallible. Infallible means the practice that never make any mistake and the foundation of all the knowledge. He rejected all those religious thoughts which were in conflict with the Vedas. He started the Shuddhi movement, in which he tried to bring back the Hindus who have converted into Islam or Christianity. He had written a book named as Satya Prakash. He fought against untouchability and rigidities of the hereditary caste system and promoted social equality. He wrote in Hindi language because the ideas could be easily accessible to the people. Arya Samaj inculcated a spirit of self-respect, self-reliance among the people. Swami Dayanand's followers later started a network of schools and colleges known as Dayanand Anglo-Vedic schools or colleges. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Because of Ishwar Chandra, the first Widow Remarriage Act was introduced in 1856. He protested against child marriage and campaigned against polygamy. He also introduced the study of Western thoughts in Sanskrit College to inspire the Indians to shake off their age-old beliefs and modernize their ideas. He believed that condition of women could be improved only through their education. The admission of non-Brahmin students in the Sanskrit college was made possible through his efforts. Swami Vivekanand, and this is his guru, Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans. Swami Vivekananda was the foremost disciple of Ramakrishna Paramhans. Vivekananda was the first spiritual leader who thought beyond religious reforms. He felt that Indian masses needed secular as well as spiritual knowledge to empower them to believe in themselves. Vivekananda established the Ramakrishna mission after the name of his guru, Ramakrishna Paramhans. He believed in the spirit of Vedanta and essential unity and equality of all religions. He laid stress on the removal of religious superstitions and obscurantism and outdated social custom. Obscurantism means practice difficult to understand. He tried to remove caste rigidities and untouchability. He motivated the people to respect the women. We will continue our discussion in the next video. Till then, thank you.